Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, fan interest. All of these things have left AEW and joined WWE in recent times. In all seriousness, it's been really exciting for the wrestling industry as of late to see so many wrestlers changing promotions. And boy howdy, with so many contracts coming up soon, we're likely to see loads more. So who's going to be joining Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill in WWE? Who will join Edge/Adam Copeland in AEW? I'm Quinnell from WrestleTalk, and these are the 10 next WWE and AEW wrestlers that are going to jump ship. Number 1, CM Punk to WWE. Kicking off today's list, we have what was once the biggest impossibility in all of pro wrestling. A full court shot, if you will. Yet now seems to be about as much of a slam dunk as you're gonna get. Sports. Despite all the mess of Punk's WWE exit in 2014, firing him on his wedding day, Colt Cabana's podcast, UFC, AEW, his hatred for Triple H, shall I go on? Seriously, there's a lot of baggage here. But once again, here we are saying, anything can indeed happen in the World Wrestling Federation. World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. While higher-ups can deny it all they want, there's been some very real Punk teasing going on WWE TV as of late. With Survivor Series emanating from Punk country, Chicago, Illinois, it seems like an absolute no-brainer. Punk reportedly wants the move and intends to return, so hopefully there's enough willingness there to bury some hatchets with Trips, Vince, Seth, etc. Even if it is just sheerly to stick it to AEW, that's honestly fine with me. Punk's eventual return would place him along the likes of Bruno Sammartino, Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, all the people who at one point never looked likely to ever return to WWE yet did. What a roller coaster of a decade it has been indeed. Okay, so update. It turns out that it's being reported that Punk isn't actually going back to WWE anymore. Like, he requested it and then they said no. So, turns out this entry was a waste of time. Thanks, everyone. Moving on. Number 2, Mustafa Ali to AEW. Perennially underused, uber-talented Mustafa Ali has got a case to be the pick of the bunch among the latest batch of WWE talent releases. The guy has got so many mouth-watering matches in AEW. I mean, I'd pay to just see him run it back with 205 Live alumni Buddy Matthews one more time, a pretty please. But perhaps the even more appealing aspect of the move would be him finally being offered the creative freedom he never had in WWE. Because Ali clearly had some great ideas of where he wanted to take his character, something we sadly only got a very small taste of towards the tail end of his NXT run. While AEW doesn't have a perfect track record of properly utilizing its ex-WWE guys, it's hard to imagine them not surpassing the very low bar that WWE set with Ali, Retribution. Ali's 90-day non-compete means this one is going to be a late December/New Year job. However, if the reports of a new New York-based AEW pay-per-view on December 29th or 30th are to be believed, then maybe, just maybe, we see Ali show up there. Number 3, Ricky Starks to WWE. Forget being a Paul Heyman guy. Where's the I'm a Cody Rhodes guy t-shirt on WWEshop.com? Following Jade Cargill's entrance into the WWE system, another known Cody sympathizer, the question truly became, who's next? How about the guy that Cody invited backstage to his big return from injury at the WWE Royal Rumble? The guy caught on CCTV like it was a crime watch or something. That person's Ricky Starks. While it's not known if Starks has had any slight combos with WWE officials while backstage at the Rumble, regardless, it seems as if WWE do indeed have their eyes on Pretty Ricky. His name has been mentioned among the reports of WWE eyeing up key AEW talent whose contracts are coming up. And to be honest, Starks is one of those AEW guys that just scream WWE appeal. As much as he's proven he can put on pro wrestling bangers with the very best, Starks is sports entertainment. So that and his close friendship with both Jade and Cody means this one is very likely indeed. Number 4, Sheamus to AEW. With Edge recently calling it a day on his time with WWE and moving across to AEW, it truly feels like no WWE lifer is indeed safe from the draw of AEW, especially when it seems as if WWE just don't have much for them. Something that can certainly be said of the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, who despite having all the momentum in the world a year ago following his war with Gunther at Clash at the Castle, has seen all that wash away across the last 12 months. Sheamo's frustration at WWE's dropping of the ball when it comes to this has been very apparent, with the Irishman making no secret of his grievances with creative. That all leads into the year that seemingly everyone's contract in all of wrestling is up, 2024. While it's hard to imagine Sheamus elsewhere, if WWE aren't gonna give the guy his Cinderella story with Gunther and the IC title, I certainly wouldn't blame him jumping ship. To steal his lingo for a second, just think of the bangers that he could have. All those stiff workers, Sheamus against Minoru Suzuki, Eddie Kingston, Katsuyori Shibata, and even another match with Edge. Yes, yes please. Number 5, Andrade El Idolo to WWE. Now if Andrade had gotten his way, this one would likely have already been a done deal about 12 months ago, because following Brawlout, Andrade and Sammy Guevara reportedly had a bit of a scuffle, with Andrade, according to Dave Meltzer at the time, trying to get fired from the company so he could rejoin WWE. While others such as Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black also seemingly wanted out, likely due to wanting to join the Triple H regime and be nearer to their significant others, neither went to the lengths that Andrade did. Yet here we are a year later, and Andrade is still all elite. While Andrade has filled the Charlotte Flair void by borrowing her finish, one would imagine he's still got an eye on that calendar counting down till he's free to return to WWE under the creative of a guy that undoubtedly gave him his best run in the States. Andrade in NXT with Zelina Vega by his side was absolute money. Yet of course, Vince Vinced it, didn't he? But so have AEW, to be honest. Andrade has genuinely done nothing since stepping through the door. He's had some great matches recently on Collision, but where's it leading? Maybe it's time to find Sammy Guevara again. I kid, don't do that. Please no more drama. Number 6, grizzled young veterans to AEW. By the time this video comes out, Zach Gibson and James Drake will officially be free agents, some 6 months after they requested their release from the company in the first place. This means that they can finally bin their contact lenses, all their monochrome clothing, and most importantly, their stupid names. They can finally go back to being their authentic selves, and even better, unlike Ali, they don't have to wait till Christmas to begin their next chapter elsewhere. Gibson and Drake are as capable a team as any in AEW, and could most certainly put on bangers in the AEW tag title scene or the Ring of Honor tag title scene, because they're obviously very distinct and different things. Don't get me wrong, the Dyad did still get to put on bangers on occasion, but it was often dampened by the spooky schism undertones of it all. While I'm sure Triple H's WWE wouldn't have enforced the drastic rebranding that they ended up getting in NXT 2.0, Tony Khan will most certainly allow them to be their authentic selves, and that's enough, really, isn't it? Number 7, QT Marshall to WWE. Now, admittedly, this one is not as exciting as some others. It's likely to incite a few groans when I said the name, but for this one, I ask that you look at the bigger picture. See, this is not about QT Marshall the performer, known for all-timers against the likes of Paul White, Hook, and Danhausen, and who could forget the time he took CM Punk to his limits? No, this is about QT as a trainer, a creative team member, producer, you name it. This guy does it. Meaning if WWE could tempt QT to join them and the blossoming crew of Cody Rhodes guys and gals, the damage to AEW would be worth its weight in whatever cash it takes to sign him up. Cody and QT are BFF, so it's very easy to see him lobbying for WWE to pick him up. Even if they decide to have him spend 100% of his time off camera, which in all actuality would probably be ideal, it's still worth doing to hurt AEW alone. Also, his wealth of experience as a trainer would fit right in at the WWE Performance Center. That is, unless WWE revives the GTV storyline 25 years later, only this time it's QTV, and it has some actual storyline payoff. Number 8, Drew McIntyre to AEW. Joining his good mate Sheamus in the contract expiry epidemic of 2024, Drew McIntyre is a guy who until recently was, similarly to Shamo, languishing with little view of returning back to his former glory. However, unlike Sheamus, McIntyre's recent creative has actually been pretty darn good. His character work is intriguing, with genuine uncertainty about which end of the babyface heel scale he sits on, and now, as of this week's Raw, has his first world title shot in over a year at Crown Jewel 2023. So why, with all this promise, has McIntyre still not signed on the dotted line for a new bumper deal? The clock is ticking. McIntyre's contract is believed to run until at least WrestleMania 40, meaning his current creative could spell whether he stays or goes. Drew has himself suggested he doesn't fancy being anywhere else, but that's pretty much what Jade Cargill said about AEW a couple of weeks before leaving, so it goes without saying that Drew could be the guy in AEW. His heavyweight stature would set him apart in AEW's world title scene, and I gotta say, seeing him at All In 2024 would be rather neat. Number 9, MJF to WWE. The bidding war of 2024. For years, MJF has been building anticipation to the day his contract runs out in AEW, and the two Khans, Tony and jolly old Saint Nick, wage war for his signature. Now, there's no doubt this is going to play into some kind of angle on TV, whether MJF's deal actually does run down on New Year's Day or not. Why wouldn't you capitalize, get those big ratings, and garner extreme buzz? But it remains to be seen how babyface MJF intends to conduct himself, off as the days tick down. But that, potentially fused with a blow-off to the Better Than You Bebe partnership, could make for some incredibly compelling television. While I expect the entire thing to play into an angle that results in MJF re-signing, what if all us skeptics were proven wrong and MJF actually did intend on leaving this entire time? Max is sports entertainment, so it's hard to imagine him not ending up in WWE at some point in his career. He's 27, for crying out loud. Just imagine after being written off of AEW TV, he shows up in the 2024 Royal Rumble and eliminates Cody, costing him his chance to finish his story. It writes itself. And number 10, Dolph Ziggler to AEW. While Cody Rhodes bet on himself and got out there, Dolph Ziggler never took that leap over WWE's walls, despite consistently being one of the absolute best wrestlers on the planet for so long. Now, despite Dolph being in the twilight of his career at 43, he still has one truly great run left in him, one where he can actually do what Booker T said he should have done a long time ago and reinvent himself. And the place that can stage the second coming of Ziggler should be AEW. While it's easy to list the dream opponents for Dolph as a single star, there is a chance for him to do something even more meaningful and drag his brother Nick Nemeth away from the wingmen out of jobber status and go on a heartwarming tag run, one with a climax that sees the Nemeths win AEW tag title gold. See, despite the still salty feeling I have regarding Dolph's all too brief runs as world champion, he doesn't need that in AEW. He can do what he does best: steal the show, elevate those mid-card titles further, and make the younger talent look like $1 million. Oh, and maybe the G1 as well. Why not? And that's our list. Is there anybody that we missed off? Let us know in the comments who you think will be joining WWE or AEW in the near future. And why not check out another one of these lists? We do one every single Sunday. Here's a clip. Cargill hops aboard. Let's find out. I'm Pete Quinnell from WrestleTalk, and here are 10 fantasy booking pitches for Jade Cargill's WWE debut.